there is a unique ongoing case between X Corporation versus Union of India in the Karnataka High Court. This case, it revolves around some sections of Information Technology Act, that is section 69A, and along with that 79(3)B are the two sections which are at the heart of the controversy. Then along with that, the government's pressure on Twitter, or that is X, to join into Sahyog portal is also one element of controversy which is ongoing. Let us try to analyze and break down what these clauses exactly mean and what has been the controversy with respect to IT Act over the past decade. In fact, the IT Act is a unique act passed by the Indian government in order to regulate the social media platforms. And along with regulation of social media platforms, it is also meant to provide safety and security to people and also preserve national integrity and national security. And as social media increased its presence, the Indian government also, under the various provisions of IT Act, tried to regulate the people's activities on social media. Particularly, there was a provision which is called as 66A. And under the 66A provision, any content which the Indian government thought as offensive should be blocked and removed by the intermediaries, and the persons can be held culpable for the offensive content they post on the social media platform. But look at the term offensive. Is it not too broad? And what is offensive for one person might be freedom of expression for another. And there is no usage of such term as offensive in Article 19(2) of Indian Constitution, which puts reasonable restrictions on freedom of speech and expression. Exactly on the same issue, in the year 2015, there was a famous case called 𝐃𝐨𝐰𝐧𝐥𝐨𝐚𝐝 case, in which the Supreme Court has squashed the 66A, saying that it is arbitrary and it will have a chilling effect on freedom of speech and expression. Then after the blocking or after the squashing of 66A, what the central government did is, it started using, or the Supreme Court itself directed the central government to use 69A. And 69A provision is used typically for surveillance of content, and along with that it is also used for blocking of content. And under the provisions of 69A, there are some reasonable restrictions which are in sync with Article 19(2), that is sovereignty and integrity of India, friendly relation with our neighbors, public order, incitement to violence are put as restrictions. And under 69A, if the government in fact wants any intermediary to remove a content or block a content, it has to give a written recommendation stating the reasons why a particular content has to be removed. So this is the provision which is a fair provision, and it has enough number of safeguards. But of late, the central government, rather than using this provision, it is using 79 section, and along with 79 section, subclause 3, subclause B is being used by the central government. What does 79 provide for? 79 provides for safe harbor principles. And usually safe harbor principles are the principles wherein if a particular intermediary follows the government orders in a specified period of time, they will be not held liable for whatever content is being posted on them. In fact, these safe harbor principles, they say that the intermediary is not liable for any content posted on them if they follow some regulations of the government. And in fact, 79 clause 3, subclause 3 and subclause B, they state that if any intermediary fails to comply with the government's recommendation for blocking, the safe harbor principles will be removed. And if the safe harbor principles are removed, automatically what it will lead to is the intermediary will be held liable for whatever content is posted on them, and the government is threatening the intermediaries. According to the version of X, it is saying that they are threatening the intermediaries with the help of 79B and asking for arbitrary removal of content or blocking of content, and along with the blocking of content, they are also asking for blocking of the individual or the accounts too. Then over and above that, they are saying that no written reasons are being provided, and sometimes the government is trying to remove anti-government expression through its blocking orders, like in the case of farmer protests, in case of criticism against Indian government for its COVID-19 pandemic response, these kind of content are being removed by the or blocked by the central government by giving these orders. And X says that it is a compromise of democratic principles, and along with the democratic principles, it is also a compromise on freedom of speech and expression, and it went to the court. And over and above this, there is also a controversy with respect to a new portal created by the central government in order to fight the cybercrime, and this portal is called as Sahyog portal. And in this, multiple number of government agencies would be present, and even the nodal officer from the intermediary would be present in the Sahyog portal, and their recommendation for blocking of content, removal of content would be made by the agencies ranging from the center to the local agencies, which is also considered to be which is also considered by X as a compromise on its freedom. That is the reason why X is saying that it doesn't want to join the Sahyog portal, and it is projecting the Sahyog portal as a censorship portal, whereas the government is saying that the recommendations of Sahyog portal or the block or the recommendations of the Sahyog portal are similar to only recommendations and they are not orders. So these kind of things are being said by the central government. So we have to wait for the Supreme Court response on the controversy between X and Union of India. But the most important aspects are 69A, then along with 69A, section 79 of IT Act, Sahyog portal, and if you go back in history, the Shreya Singhal case judgment, which is section 66A judgment. In fact, the X's main opinion is that the government is creating a parallel mechanism under section 79 in order to subvert the protections given under 69A. Is one more statement which is being said, that is, through 79, if you give a blocking order, you need not give the reasons. Then apart from that, even the user whose content has been removed, he is also not given any reason why his content has been removed. Whereas under 69, at least the intermediaries will have some safeguards. That is the reason why it has gone to the court. Let's wait for the Supreme Court to give its judgment on the same. Thank you.
కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ప్రత్యేకంగా సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ఏ ఆప్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ బుక్స్ రిఫర్ చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి డౌట్స్ ఉంటే CSBIS అకాడమీని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. దీనికి సంబంధించి నా పర్సనల్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఈ వీడియో పైన డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్న కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు.